City of Stevens Point Airport Commission meeting, recorded July 14, 2025.
On to the Airport Commission. Approval of minutes. As of May 12th. Any changes or corrections? Motion to approve is in order.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor signify by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Aye. All same sign. Motion carried. Approval of the claims for the months of May and June. Any questions?
No.
All right, motion to approve the claims is in order.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor signify by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Aye. All same sign. Motion carried. Baker Tilly report.
All right, Jody, same routine here?
Yes, I will let you find the airport page. So we do conduct the audit all together as far as the planning and fund work. We've laid out the airport information here a little bit different because their financials are a little unique. So we've got the revenues, which were for 2024 up a little bit over the prior year and just over the $500,000 mark. And then the expenses below that, which were higher than the revenues. However, a large portion of that is the depreciation expense. So if we look at operating activity, you would see an operating loss. About a third of that is driven by the depreciation expense, and then the remainder is made up through the tax revenues that comes in through the tax levy. So when we look at the kind of overall position is the income between operating revenues and the tax levy is meeting the operating expense needs. And we can see at the bottom there that the cash reserves have been maintained. They've dropped a little bit over the last few years. And so this year they ended it just below that 3-month benchmark that we like to see. And I think that was just due to some one-time items. And so that would just be something to kind of monitor. If that continued to go down, then we may want to look at the budgets around the airport more carefully. But I know that, again, like anywhere else, the capital activity here can cycle from year to year that can impact that cash balance.
So we're just going to want to watch the trend going forward.
Right.
Any questions? If not, we need a motion and a second to approve the audit.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor signify by the sign of aye. Aye. All same sign. Motion carried. Thanks, Jody.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jody.
All right, there's a memo from Joel regarding sponsor-only project for the airport.
Yeah, so to my memo here, there it is. You may or may not recall, we got a capital list kind of determined and then reshuffled that list based on prioritizing planning documents because some of the money available to us was sure to be lost if it wasn't kind of programmed pretty quick. And you can program planning money in quickly. You can't program in construction money quickly because you have to do engineering before you do that. And before you do engineering, you have to select an engineer. So it's a little more arduous of a process. Anyway, our current master plan effort has been through the selection process and kind of the I use the word loosely, the selection of the consultant process. But if we want to keep going, and I think it's the local hope and the hope of the Bureau that we keep going so that we don't kind of hit pause just to kick projects down the road another year. What's required by the Bureau is the sponsor-only agreement. And just to kind of put it out there in simple terms, depending on the year and the level of funding, we usually pay either 2.5% or 5% of a project. They just lowered it back down to 2.5% recently for a lot of efforts, which is really good. That's half of what we were normally paying, but even that was only 5% of a project, which is awesome. But the way they handle cash between the FAA and the Bureau is kind of tricky. We go through this with transit too every year. Until the Bureau has that money actually in hand and allocated and designated for that project, they can't move forward on a project. And so what they ask pretty routinely, as it turns out, is that if we want to keep going, do a sponsor-only agreement with us, and we'll keep going. And when the funds can't come in, the sponsor-only agreement is then null and void. The funny thing is that even if that money didn't come in, we have other funding sources from them to use for this project, but we would have to ask them to be used for this project, and we don't want to do that now because that can change the order of the projects, right? So I don't know how else to say it other than I don't know why these are necessary, but they say they're necessary. So the option is approve this and we keep going on our master plan, or don't, recognizing that there's a 1 in a whatever chance that this $477,000 doesn't come through on their side. However, there's other pots of money to use towards that, so we won't end up paying it. But we're saying in here
That we'll pay it if we have to. Like going to the doctor.
Yeah, well, yeah. And so we did this last year. I see Alder Shoot is on. We did this last year. No, Jesus.
A couple years back.
22?
Yes,
We
correct.
got one approved in 22 for a 23 project, I think. Well, it was supposed to be of like $5.2 million, right? It was a big dollar amount that it was like, we have to know we're not going to end up paying this. And we did know we didn't need to end up paying it, and we didn't end up paying it. So this is a very similar thing. It's just a much smaller, we're less than a tenth here, So I thought I'd bring it to you guys, see how you feel about it. We're confident that we're not exposing the airport operation or the city to that dollar amount. But nonetheless, it's an agreement that takes action. So if you approve it here, I'll make sure that it's outside of, and this is a note for Jamie, I suppose, that it's outside of the consent agenda, has its own item, so that it gets seen by council as well.
When it says sponsor only,
That's us. We're the sponsor.
city
Yeah,
sponsor.
we're the sponsor. Yep. That's their terminology, not ours. It's weird.
City of Stevens Point is the sponsor of the airport.
Yeah.
Okay.
Motion to approve is in order.
Second.
All those in favor signify by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Aye. Same sign. Motion carried. Well, Jason has written reports for both months in the packet. And Jason, you want to make any comments?
None other than what's noted on the reports. I really don't have anything to add for 2 months. It's fairly standard.
Any questions for Jason?
Not on the report, but have we already had the AAA this year?
Nope, that's coming up.
Okay.
This is our big prep week, getting ready for the event. Starting Friday, we should see aircraft, the influx of aircraft coming in and through on their way to Oshkosh. So we have a number of folks that are basing at our airport. We should have anywhere from 30 to 50 planes on the ground, and our hangar is full. Our transient hangar has already been reserved.
Wow.
So we've got a lot of folks coming in. So next week will be busy. And then we'll hear crickets the week after that. Everybody doesn't, I don't know why, but it happens that way.
Okay.
All right. We need a motion to approve. Thank you. So then we need a motion to adjourn.
I'll move to adjourn.
All those in favor, signify by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Aye. Sign. Motion carried. Thank you for your service.
A video of this meeting is available for viewing on the city's website, stevenspoint.com/videos.